Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Well, thank you. Here we go again. You know that oh, I'm sorry, you can't see me here. The sheet wasn't up earlier today.
Huh.
So I don't know what he did.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
yes, right. Yeah, right. Is Jonathan on?
I see John.
I only see you. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we got there's homeowners on now.
Big screen. So we didn't get any volunteers for help count except for one. And are they gonna help or?
Yeah, they will open the ballots if it becomes necessary, and three will work together to count the ballot, to count the votes.
Okay, so there's one person from the community and two people that are being
Paid.
hired by whoever to do it.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Is that Brian that just joined?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Get that off.
Good evening, everyone. It's Jonathan Yellen. How's everyone doing tonight? It seems like most of you are muted, but not everyone. And that's fine, because this is an annual meeting of the membership, and we will be conducting an election just as soon as we make sure that we give everyone a moment to get into the meeting, because I see some more people joining. So hang tight for another moment and we'll get underway.
John, a little tough to hear you, buddy.
Okay, well, is that better? It could be you, it could be me. Is that you, Scott?
I can hear him fine.
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, might be you, Scott.
Okay. And
I'm good now. I'm good, thanks.
Perfect. All right, everyone's logging in. I see more people popping up here. I'm going to go ahead and turn my computer around so you can see all of our lovely participants in the meeting. I'm going to ask everyone to introduce themselves so you know who is serving as our election committee, please. Jasmine, would you go first, please?
My name is Yasmin Friedman, and I live in Country Park South. I've been there for quite a few years.
Okay,
I'm
perfect.
trying to be helpful here. I offer my services, and here I am.
Here you are. And you're not related to any candidate, are you?
Absolutely. I don't.
No.
No.
Okay. All right. We also have one of our co-owners of the management company. You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Luann McEntee, and I'm Director of Client Services for Associated Property Management.
Fantastic. Thank you, Lynn.
Hi, I'm Angie Curtis, the property manager.
Hi, I'm Yolanda McCallum, Administrative Assistant with Associated Property Management.
Thank you. Perfect. All right. That is our crew. So we'll call the meeting to order. It is 6:37, and I see some more people popping in here, but here's the way it's going to go. We have an agenda for today. The first thing we would do would be to approve minutes from the last meeting, but I don't think we have minutes from the last meeting because I don't think we had a meeting last year. It was mid-COVID. So there are no minutes to approve. The next thing we would do is certify that notice was posted in the common area and delivered to the owners. Angie, did we successfully post notice of tonight's meeting?
Yes, it was posted on property, and then the notices that went out for the first and second notice.
Okay, and the bylaws require that the first notice go out within 60 days and the second notice go out within, I think it's 15 days or something, and we more than comply with that requirement. Yes?
Yes,
Perfect. And you'll do an affidavit of notice.
yes.
Awesome. Okay. And that will be on record with the association management company. Will stay in our official records. Okay, so first question, most important question, do we have a quorum, right? So there's 306 houses in Country Park. The quorum requirement pursuant to the bylaws is 30%, which is 91 point something. We round up, so we need 92 owners present in person or by proxy, right? All of the owners in your packet received a ballot because in Country Park, we take nominations in advance, and you also received proxies. And so we blasted that out in the mail, and many of you have returned mailing to us. There are ballots, there are proxies, there's a little bit of both, but we don't know whether we have a quorum until we get into those envelopes. All right, so I hate to build tension. I know a lot of you would like to know right here and right now, do we have at least 92? And the answer is not really no. But we still have to open them all, and we will do that. Okay, so everyone, I'm now going to turn the camera, and I will now explain to our election committee what comes next. Okay, so.
You want me to turn mine?
Sure. Angie, if you could turn yours and put the camera on everyone, that's perfect. Okay, thank you. Well, you know what? Let's do this. Jasmine, since I have my own computer, Angie wants to get you on camera because I don't know
Okay.
that you're wide enough, Angie. Are you?
So what do you want me to do?
If you could just, Angie, put yours at the very end. There you go.
And also, if anybody wants to see, they need to come off a speaker view. Otherwise, you won't see all the cameras.
Yeah, just push your computer back as far as it'll go so that, yeah, both of our, there you go. Okay, there you go.
Okay.
So here's what happens next. We're going to open all of these envelopes because that's what we need to do. It looks like it looks like the number is close, but it looks like we're a little short. So, but you never know. We'll open these envelopes, and there could be 2 inner envelopes in 1 envelope. It's theoretically possible, but it's unlikely. But we'll do it anyway. So here we go. To our vote counters, to our talliers, to our election committee, you have a tally sheet in front of you. And when you open the outer envelope, right, inside of it should be a ballot, and the ballot must be sealed and closed, right? We don't want any open inner envelopes. For now, we are only separating the outer envelope from the inner envelope. If we opened one after the other quickly, then we would know how that person voted, and we don't want to do that. That's why we're just going to open and separate the outer from the inner.
Okay.
And
That's
let's
the one I-
start doing that now. And actually give me one example so I can hold up to the camera so they can have a close view. I will keep them intact for now.
Here you go.
You got one? There you go. Okay. So this is an example, folks, of what we're talking about. This is, and I hate to use somebody's name, but this is somebody's outer envelope, right? Which identifies the unit owner, the lot owner. It has their signature, and it has, it does not have a floating ballot, meaning as we open them, and I'll show you, I'm going to do one for our
I
election
just
counters.
did this one.
Yeah,
without
that's
the-
fine.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, let me just do it just so that folks, because I've got a camera close to me. I'll show everyone what it looks like close up, right? So we would open up the outer envelope and separate the ballot, right? The ballot has no markings on the outside. It doesn't have the unit or lot owner's name. It doesn't say anything other than ballot, right?
Right.
So we're going to separate this, which has their identifying information, and put that in a pile, and we're going to put the ballot in another pile. So now we don't,
Right.
now it's anonymous, okay?
Right.
Let's do that.
Don't we also have to verify that the name and information on the outer envelope is of someone with the rights to vote or a valid homeowner?
Yes, and we have done that as we've sat here, and we were a few moments late doing that. We have done, what did we get there?
This is the only one that wasn't signed by a registered owner.
But no, as soon as we get done with it, we'll explain that. So John Lay raises a valid, important point that we cannot accept ballots from anyone that is not an owner, right? Only owners can vote. So the good news is that all but one of the envelopes that we're opening now was submitted by an owner. There is one that was not. And again, you will, well, I'll try to hold up as much as I can to show it to you. And of course, you can come inspect these records at your leisure. If there are any outer envelopes that don't have signatures from the owners, let me know, right? Because those cannot be counted. We have to know, we have to have a signature from an owner.
You say this for the record? For the people that-
All the outer envelopes, the inner envelopes, all of it gets saved. Yep. So everybody can see what she's asking, what Yasmin's asking. You know, this would be an example of an open outer envelope, and it all gets saved. And as you're opening them, if you see that there's maybe more than one ballot or something, just let me know as you're separating them. I'm assuming that you haven't seen anything like that. Is that right? Okay. And while this goes on, folks, because I know it's not exactly exciting stuff. If there are any unit owners that would like to talk about any specific issues or amongst themselves, you are absolutely welcome to do that. It is your meeting. We don't know yet if we have a quorum, but officially or otherwise, you're all in this call together. So if you'd like to talk about something to pass the time, you're welcome to do that. If you'd rather just sit and watch, that's okay too.
But you remember last year we had AT&T tearing up the community. I know that was a pain, but recently my Comcast promotion ended. And of course, the rate was going to go way up. So I switched over to AT&T, and the performance of our fiber in the community is exceptional. It's gigabit up and down for less than what Comcast charges. So if anybody's considering it, it's
I have a question. I volunteered at the last meeting for the ARC committee, and I haven't been contacted or anything. I didn't know, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I volunteered, but I assumed I would have been reached out to about what we have to do for that, and I haven't heard anything.
Well, I think, from my understanding and talking with the board of management, I think the plan is to, because we have a new we have an election. It's very entirely possible that the board itself, the new board, will want to give some direction to the folks in the architectural committee. And so I think that's the plan, is to get through this meeting and then convene the architectural. In the meantime, have there been any applications for architectural modification that have come through since the last meeting?
No, I think we probably had one or two, but the board's been doing those until we establish.
Okay.
the
Yeah.
architecture.
But I can just, so for the folks that are listening, those that have volunteered, we can go through that together, what that looks like. Because there could be a resolution, or there could be, some guidelines for you all in helping to understand how to vote. Okay. I'm going to come back to our ballots. We have separated all the outer from the inner. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do this. Now we know how many ballots we have, pure ballots, right? Okay. And let's now, Angie, you mentioned a moment ago that there was one that appeared to have been cast by someone that was not a lot owner. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, let me look.
And the warranty deeds on property.
Okay. And I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad or weird by calling it out, but since this is a Zoom meeting and the owners don't have the luxury of standing over and watching like they normally do, I kind of have to do it this way. So we do have one that was cast by someone that is not identified on the deed. It looks like 8364 Garden Gate. This is the outer envelope, presumably containing an inner. It was also accompanied by a proxy. And the deed that is recorded indicates that the property is owned by Carol, and this appears to have been cast by Stapleberg. So that 83.
Actually, you're looking at the wrong. 8364 is an estate, or was an estate, was transferred to the children. They were told by the attorneys everything was transferred. That's the daughter who lived there for 14 and a half years. So there's no Carol that ever owned that home.
Okay.
So if that's what you're showing on a record, that is grossly incorrect.
Oh, well, Carol, no, I'm sorry. Carol transferred to Myron, Myhren. So the owner of record is Myron, William Myron. That's what the documents, that's what the deed indicates.
That's what the county has.
And that's the.
If you look on the clerk of the, he's dead. It's an estate, or not
Right.
updated.
We're gonna move forward because that is, again, you have to be an owner of record in order to cast a ballot. So I hear what you're saying, Sharon, but if you're not on the deed, then you can't really cast a vote. So again, this is one that appears to have been cast by a non-owner. So we're gonna put that one aside. We have to mark it as a disregard and the reasons why, right? So let me borrow the pen. Keep it together. Proxy in the ballot. Disregard, not a lot owner. My initials, we'll keep the proxy together with a copy of the warranty deed indicating the property is owned by Myron, or was. Okay. We'll hold it over there. All right. Let's count those ballots, shall we? Now we're counting the inner envelope by itself to get us a sense of what the numbers look like.
Twenty.
20? How many?
20?
28.
28?
Mhm.
Okay, we're almost there.
27.
Yes.
Okay, I went to law school and not,
Taking note?
let's do some quick math.
Let's do the easy. Talking about person with easy buttons.
We said,
28, 27, and 20. That's right,
yeah, that's 75.
75.
Okay, that's short. We have 75. But we will continue, we will persevere and continue. And it seems like a pain, but we're going to do it anyway because we need to open those just in case there's something kooky that's happened, and included in those ballots would be maybe another ballot. Yeah, I mean, it's possible that someone could stuff 2 of them in there.
What
We
about,
have to-
Jonathan? What about the proxies? Why are we opening the ballots and stuff when you haven't even counted the proxies? How many in proxy a person?
We have the proxies right here.
Okay, so how many in proxies and in person before you're opening ballots?
Yeah, well, that number is very, very short. That number is like
49.
49. Yeah, there were only 49 proxies that were cast at all. So if you go.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
The only question I asked, because it doesn't make a difference, you can't really open those if we don't have proxy in person, as you know.
I hear you, Steve, but I figured that if I didn't, if we didn't open these ballots, there's some remote chance that included in those inner ballots would be another proxy.
Yeah, but the problem is if you open it with a ballot, then the proxy reveals who it is.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Once.
Now, here's the thing, as members, I'm gonna make a motion to continue it to give us an extension of 30 days to allow us to get enough. I mean, we've hit a close target. I mean, where this is probably the closest it's ever been in a long time. I don't know if any other members here at our meeting would like to make a second motion so we can move forward to give us another 30 days.
I'll second it.
Do homeowners have the ability to make a motion at a board meeting or an election?
It's not a board meeting.
It's not a board meeting.
Correct. It's
It's an
not.
annual homeowners meeting.
Mhm. So I would like to, if we agree, I would like to make a motion to, we can agree on either, we'll make it 21 days, which would be June 21st, June 28th, or we can be July 5th, the same
Yeah.
Monday, same time.
The only problem, and it's the same logic you were discussing earlier, Steve, which is if we don't have a quorum, then you don't have a meeting. So you can't.
No, but it's a members meeting and we have to try to get an election. Everybody there, it shall have an election. So I'm making a motion as a member to, as good faith, to try to get an election. I mean, we're asking as members here that we would like to get more people. One is we have a problem with your directions. Your directions had people send them in. Where are the ones? I know at least 10 people that sent them in with just a ballot and a ballot envelope mailed to the secretary on the directions that were wrong. No one responded to me for the past week on multiple emails about these inconsistencies. We went around to multiple owners and many of them are here that have very large concerns of how this has been handled.
Let's do this. We have a list of everyone that has submitted proxies and ballots and all of that stuff. If there's anybody here that has any doubts about whether or not their mailings were accepted.
It's not, I have to, one second, Jonathan. I understand it's about doubts or not, but the question is, why are the instructions not clear? The instructions specifically talk about a proxy on the back of a ballot, specifically doesn't talk anything about that proxy to begin with. People had no clue how to fill it out. Talks about inserting the ballot into an inner envelope and then putting it in and mailing it to APM. I mean, this is absurd.
Not true. I have the instructions
It's
right
true.
here.
Yeah.
They were very clear, step by step.
No, I'll differ with you there, John, because they
If any
weren't.
other member, Sharon, if any other members here that have had issues with it, or they were clearly wrong, I mean, you can unmute yourself and speak up. This is our meeting.
Right.
I mean, I'll agree. It was a little confusing to fill out, and I assumed, I was going to be attending this, and I dropped off my ballot in person, so I didn't fill out a proxy. I figured that meant if someone wasn't, it was a little confusing. So.
Oh yeah.
I agree. Without Steve or Sharon's assistance, I probably would have been nullified.
And I sent out emails to APM multiples and received no response, Jonathan.
Well, and here's the thing, guys. Remember, no one is nullified at this moment. There is no nullification because that's the reason why I had everyone take those ballots out and show them to you, because if you added up all of the ballots, if we said that if we treated the ballot like a proxy and said, look, the proxy thing was confusing. If you mailed in a ballot, you're getting credit, and we will use the ballot to get to quorum. If we
But believe it or not, our amended documents of 2007 state that if you're not going to be an in-person meeting, the proxy has to be on the ballot, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't say.
Yes, it does. Read it. I sent all this information in, and obviously, once again, it did not get to you, the board, or the property management.
Well, you know my email address, so I don't know why you wouldn't.
Well, I can't have certain discussions with you directly, besides this, but even at that, you don't return them. So that's a whole nother story.
Fine.
But once again, let me ask you a question. Where are the answers from APM that were specifically copied to Brian and them and the board? And I have no answers.
Well, here's the answer. If you count up every ballot that was submitted to management, every single ballot, proxy or no proxy, you have 75 sitting in front of you. If you count
Correct, and I understand, but the
Jonathan?
process is done wrong against our documents. Read the documents amended in 2007. It specifically states, if you're not going to be at the meeting, the proxy has to be on the ballot. If not, and you're at the meeting, you're doing a ballot there at the meeting. You're exchanging it because you're there in person.
Of course,
You amended, you certified, and your firm or whatever at that time amended those.
Yeah, right. I'm more.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so that's right. And so in 2007, the bylaws were amended to allow for the process of nomination in advance of the meeting. That eliminated the, wild people raising their hands and
Correct.
nominating. So that's good, right? Because that creates some sense of certainty. But look, I don't know what else I can do to be more generous, I guess, and saying every one of the ballots, proxy or no, could be counted.
But then okay, so you're saying okay now. Whoa, John, but here now you're saying you're going above and beyond what the law states, and you're going to count them regardless of we got proxy or not.
Sure, why not?
Really? Wow. Don't when you want to follow the law, you want to create your own. Wow.
All right. So here's the thing.
Jonathan, there is another issue as well that is not even being touched on.
Right.
So I didn't get my second packet. It took 3 emails to APM. The ballot,
other members
the packet
also
was
didn't
brought to my home. See, hang on. The ballot was brought to my home on Friday. I am not the only one that did not receive a packet, because in going around to neighbors, people were like, well, we never got it. We never, hence the craziness of going and making copies and going door to door to attempt to get proxies and ballots. So beside the fact that the mailing was deficient in many ways, there's no proof of mailing, obviously. There are many people that said to me, I never received it. And I said, you mean you didn't get a big white envelope?
Nope.
It would be very strange.
Again,
I can't speak to that. All I can say, guys, is that the membership, according to management, the membership was mailed a packet. They have the same matrix and mailing systems, I would imagine.
And it's the same ones, Jonathan, that were lost
it's
for our
along with
banking
the April
information.
mailing.
Is there anybody online? Is there anybody that's in the meeting now that would say that they did not receive a meeting packet? Anyone? There are 29 people on the meeting right now. Jasmine, no, just because it's a very small room and there's lots of noise. Is there any of the 29 participants in this meeting that will say that they did not receive a packet? No. Okay. Right. And
I did receive mine. My neighbor across the street, he did not receive his.
Okay.
And hence that's why there's different ballot envelopes and stuff that I got from my property. And that's why you have the different ones from people that didn't have anything. So how do you explain the different envelopes?
Yeah.
And a number of the 40 that I dropped off, not have them.
What's that, John?
Tony?
Yeah,
Yeah, some people use in every election that I've ever I've ever sort of.
Yeah,
handled.
that is, and
They-
like,
people do.
people use their own.
People
Yeah,
send-
that's something, and like.
They
I
could
don't
use
see a
the,
problem.
you know, the standard, or they could, you know, make
Right.
up their own. And if they made up their own, this would be accepted. We are not taking the position that only the printed
Oh, I
envelope.
didn't say that. I'm
Nobody-
just giving you a
nobody
proof
said
for
you
those
were.
are the ones that didn't have it. I didn't say that. You're putting words in our mouth.
Jonathan, we have a motion by a homeowner and it was second by a homeowner to extend it.
It's, you know, I'm gonna be very candid with you. If there is no quorum, then I don't believe that there's even the power to do that. So.
Wow.
Well,
Unbelievable.
Jonathan, the basis, I believe what I'm hearing, the basis for extending it is that A, the instructions were blurry, and two, a number of homeowners didn't get the packets. I think that justifies to extend it.
And
We
no
have-
reason,
There's
Michael,
not a
and
single
on
homeowner
that,
that, on the meeting that says they didn't receive the package.
Yeah, that's the.
But
So
there's
there are
a lot
number
of people that turn
proxies
in
that are being held for people that did not receive it. So take a vote of those as well.
There's 29, and
There's-
not one of them has said that they.
So, a quick question. So far, if they didn't meet the quantity of people,
Quorum, yes.
what is the problem on trying it again then?
Well, there's supposed to be.
I mean,
certain-
why can't we just try it again? No, it's just a simple
can ex-
question.
yes, you're right, Roger. You can't
Just have
extend it.
elections
We have
over
up
and
until
over
90
until we.
days.
So we just.
I
have
mean, I am
elections over and
seconding
over
that.
until we.
Yeah, if you had a quorum, if it was a certainty that you had a quorum, then you would have the right to extend this vote, to adjourn the meeting, absolutely.
But there would be no reason to adjourn the meeting if we gained a quorum because we'd have an election.
30% that you need in order to hold. an
And we
It's
do
still a
have an
membership meeting.
uncertainty because some of the homeowners did not receive the packages.
And the instructions are very not clear at all.
Those
no
are
one-
the uncertainties.
Come on,
Jonathan, those are clear uncertainties, clear.
absolutely.
How can you hold an election if you have those uncertainties?
Well,
And
look,
no answering of emails or any responses either. You can't use, I didn't list you as it. I don't want to rack up any more money at the amount of money you get. So I figured the management can handle a question, can't they?
I don't know. I think if you have a real concern about the integrity of an election.
No, I can't contact you directly. Neither can an average board member connect to you. They're not supposed
Why
to.
not?
You're not a free open to rack up money for us.
All right. So there is a motion that's on the table to adjourn the meeting.
Not
and-
adjourned.
No, that's not adjourned. There's a motion to extend this voting process. And it was second.
Right. So it was second, but there
And
is,
I
no-
second it.
but there is no quorum.
Well, owners, we're not going to get anywhere because obviously they don't want to listen to the actual owners due to the limits, due to the wrong mailings, due to everything else that's clearly not within our amended bylaws from 2007. We need to reconvene as homeowners and take other action because this is not going to end well. And the three people that are here on the board now obviously don't care to give it a fair shot. And it's kind of disgusting. I mean, they can have the power to say, hey, why don't we make this right and let's see if we could try to get more. No, they're all appointed. None of them have been elected dully at a meeting. We haven't had quorum in 14 years, people. I don't know what you guys tell you. And a lot of people are upset. We want things run right.
Quorum in 14 years, because I think I attended a meeting a few years ago where there was. an
Well,
election.
that's you said we haven't had quorum in the last meeting or whatever in a while when you were talking about it. So I'm just going by your words.
I didn't say 14 years. I think it's
Check
been
the audio.
4 years or so. Anyway, yeah, it has, they've had a quorum, they've had an election, for sure. And they were, you know, look, the argument is that 75 is that you're not even close, is the candidate. And if you, I guess the question is, if you could find 92 minus 75 is 17 people that would sign an affidavit certifying that they never got the packet, then maybe you get somewhere. But I don't know how to get you where you want to be, because I only have I only can work with what I have. I have a manager that had just stated when I asked her, did the mailings go out, that she said yes, right? And she's going to sign an affidavit. She is going to sign an affidavit under oath that the mailings went out. Under penalty of perjury, she will make that certification. Will you not?
I will.
Okay.
Yeah,
So she will raise her hand and say that. The question is, will there owners that are either on this call or others, will there be 17 people that will also raise their hand and say, I swear on God that I did not get this packet? And
Well,
I
But it
but I didn't
doesn't
get
have
this
to be
packet,
here.
or I didn't vote because it was confusing and I didn't understand what I had to turn in. Because you probably would be able to get 17 people saying that they were confused on the directions.
Exactly.
Yes.
If somebody,
Including
That
people
was the
that
other-
didn't vote at all because they were.
That was
so
the other uncertainty as well.
Even John Lay posted on Nextdoor stating that he would help them fill it out just today. So, I mean, he understands that it does too. Am I correct?
I understand that if somebody was not bright enough.
Understanding.
Understand.
comment was, right?
Step by step by
Right.
step. I was willing to help explain that.
Well,
But,
there would be no need if it's clear, right?
well, if it's clear, so if somebody's has trouble, doesn't understand whether it's a language barrier for whatever reason, that doesn't mean an election is invalid.
No, but the instructions and everything are very confusing. No one explained even what that proxy is for. They said there's a proxy envelope written on the back. I mean, everything's confusing. I mean,
I didn't
Yeah,
find
no.
it.
let's put it this way.
Why
We're
are
wasting-
we using
founded
this term of
here.
language barrier?
Let's guys, I mean, they're gonna sit there and they're gonna be in their ways because they're being told to do it that way. We should stop wasting our own money with this carrying on as the hour goes on with payment for these people, and we proceed in the other way.
Is there anybody
Because
here
you're
that found the
you're not gonna
instructions
win an
clear and
argument.
easy to understand?
Did you read the instructions, Lay? You know how to vote. I should rephrase that. You know how to vote.
Well, let's follow up on John's question. Is there anyone, we've already asked the question if there's anybody in the meeting that could.
But there's, as you can see,
Let me finish.
there's only 30 people here, and I went out with other people and got 40 some odd people, and pretty much half of them were having issues with it, and they were asking for help. And those,
So again,
a lot of those people are not here, so you
let me
can't base
finish
it
up.
upon the people.
Well, so if the truth is that there were a lot, to use your word, is there even one person in this meeting now that did not cast a vote because they were confused about the nature of the packet? They didn't know how to cast a vote. Is there anybody in here that tuned in to say, hey, I'm here because I don't understand your voting package materials?
So I
Did not understand. I asked for help over.
And, okay,
Rob very clearly said that if it weren't for Steve and I, he wouldn't have sent in his ballot.
right, but he
Rob,
did.
are you still there?
Yeah, but he did.
Yeah, I mean,
And-
I did need their help. It was confusing to me. I feel like I'm pretty intelligent, but I'm new to the HOA system.
Gotcha.
That's why that assistance helped. And I think there's a lot of new homeowners that probably looked at this pack and like, I don't know what to do with this.
And there always is. I mean, look, between the voting certificate and the inner envelope and the outer envelope, I mean, these are non-negotiables, right? The statute and the law requires that we do, you have to have a proxy, right? Because without a proxy, then you don't get your quorum. And especially this Zoom thing of meeting offsite. So it is a little odd for sure. And I understand that it can be a little confusing for sure.
Where in the packet
But
did
the
it very clearly
instructions-
say to people, you really need to mail in the proxy, whether you're going to be there or not, in order for us to meet quorum.
And again, back to that point, if we were to count every single ballot, putting the proxies aside or the lack of proxies aside, you still are short.
Oh, my Lord.
This is not about that.
It's about it all,
No.
Jonathan. It is.
It's not. There's nobody that's listening that I think would challenge the fact that we were willing to open these ballots and give credit. And let's say it to be clear, Yasmin, we are prepared and will, if you want, willing to open these ballots and count, even though we know it's going to be short. Crediting each and every one as though.
No, I personally think you should keep them sealed because we did make a motion and we're gonna, those proxies and all that stuff are good for 90 days from today. We would like to make a motion, and I think even the board would like to honor it, to be able to go get those extra, whatever you say, 17 or whatever you wish. Because if you're going to open those, you're even given the benefit of the doubt to illegally open the ballots and count those without proxies isn't even the law. So how would you certify that? That's the other question we'd like to know. Why would you say without proxies or in person, but we have what, 72, you said 72 or 75 ballots there? What's there, Jonathan?
75, right? I think.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's 75 and we had how many proxies?
We had
remember,
40 came from us.
40 something, yeah. 40
Okay, so without a proxy, and you don't know with the proxy, because no one's really there in person, you need that proxy to go there. You're just going to take those envelopes at face value because you wrote proxy on the back of the envelope, which it isn't a proxy because they didn't sign the envelope. It doesn't state the date, the time of that meeting on that envelope. So you're ready to tell us, oh, we're going to give you the benefit of the doubt of 75 ballots that are sitting there when that would be against the law.
Well, that's an interesting point you make. Then if that's the case.
No, it's not an interesting point. You just said you would bend the rules for that.
Because this is the thing. Your proposal is that you hold on to those ballots. They've now been separated from the inner envelope. The inner,
which you shouldn't. It's based on a proxy. Am I right?
No, you have to always separate the inner. If you read the statute.
No, no, you don't.
Yeah.
The proxy or in person, that's how you get for quorum. If you don't have quorum, they stay sealed.
No.
Yes, they do.
No, you have to separate them in order to know whether or not somebody has slipped a proxy.
But it doesn't matter if somebody slipped it in there, as you know, it's invalid.
That's not true at all.
Yes, it is. It's invalid. Just like you can't mark anything on the inside ballot or those other envelopes. No. You don't just open them free willy and go at it. If you don't have quorum to start that, you don't have quorum. Okay, whoa. This is our meeting, Jonathan. This is our meeting.
But you don't
Once again, if you had only 42 or whatever proxies or 45, you should have came back and said, we only have this, but somehow we have so many ballots. That's the way it goes. We didn't meet quorum at that time, but you don't just go willy-nilly and open them.
So I'm going to actually, I'm going to exercise my my position as chairperson, and I'm going to.
I figured.
Who elected you chairperson? Because the membership did not.
This is a membership meeting.
It's not.
But you don't have a meeting, so there's no quorum. All right, here's what we'll do.
Then there's nothing for you to say if we don't have a meeting.
Jonathan, are we being are the members being unreasonable here?
You're asking for a meeting where you don't have a quorum, even if we give credit.
No, wait,
Oh,
Jonathan. Listen to what I'm saying. And don't frown. Jonathan.
Every one of those ballots.
Jonathan.
We pretended
the instructions were blurry, and some homeowners didn't get their ballots. Now,
we've been down this road before. So here's what we do. This is the deal. If we call the meeting and we adjourn it now, those that disagree with the position that we've taken have their legal remedies, and they can exercise those remedies. But one of those remedies is not to hold the meeting hostage and me hostage at my hourly rate, because you don't.
Well, that's what I said. That's what I said earlier.
See,
there you go. Now you're using your hourly rate, which we said not to pay you, and I said that before. And now you're using it that we're holding you hostage. You can't have them both ways.
Because I'm not the judge, and you have to go find yourself a judge that would agree with your position. So everyone, I thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I know it's a little frustrating.
Wait, Jonathan, I just have one quick question. I just have one quick question. I'm new to this process.
Go ahead, Rob.
What happens now? Is it status quo? I'm just confused. And what happens next?
That is a great question. What happens now? All right. So the law says that the board serves until an election, right? That would replace them, right? And of course, our documents call for the yearly election. Here we are. We don't have an election because we don't have a quorum. So the board will continue to remain in its position as it has in other years where you haven't had a quorum. And so the three directors that are sitting will now, at the next meeting, they'll call another board meeting, and those directors will fill the two positions, the two vacancies that are open.
The three directors that were placed to fill vacancies, whom were never elected to the board. So you are perpetuating this by ignoring homeowners. You are perpetuating an appointed board of your liking and ignoring the will of the homeowners.
Okay, so here's what I would do. I would say like this. If you feel like something's happening that you don't like or that you don't agree with, again, you have legal remedies. We're doing the best that we can and age
Correct.
change days.
Let's not get us any more bills going up with Yellen, because he's not going to stay where he is. It's clearly against our bylaws that were amended in 2007. Other elections have gone this way in 19 and in 18 with other stuff. We will reconvene as members and we will process what we need to process. Because obviously he's not working for the community at all.
Well, that's.
And if you three board members are serious about having an open and honest election, the three of you should vote to as well to adjourn the meeting until a later date. That would be the right thing to do.
Do any of the directors that are on the
You
call,
should speak
would any of them like to adjourn the
Speak for
meeting
you.
or to hold the meeting over or open while additional ballots are collected? Debbie, John, or Scott, would any of you
No.
like to make that motion?
Make a motion to adjourn.
All right, there's nothing to adjourn because there's no meeting. This has been
Right.
essentially an informal conversation. Everyone, thank you for your time tonight. I'm sorry for those that are disappointed, but we will move on. Thank you all. See you at the next